Welcome to our fall planting video. All right, so what we did is we made each of the rows, but we weren't quite ready to plant this one yet. So one of the things that I've kind of recently really adhered to is keeping the soil constantly covered no matter what. So in the best situation, you've got a layer of wood chips on your soil or some kind of mulch. In the worst situation, you would just throw a tarp on it, which is what we did in this section. And we've had a tarp on here for about 2 months because we weren't quite ready to plant in this area. But now we're ready, and that's what we're going for today. Because we were gonna wait, it was gonna compact down. And we have an awesome hoe. It's called a double-wheeled hoe from Haas Tools that we use. And it's really cool because it's a minimalist way to be able to till like the top few inches of the ground without really tilling it, because we don't really want to mess up all of the soil below, because we want to let the microbes and all the little bug life to aerate the soil for us. That's the goal. So we want more of a minimalist kind of tilling situation. So down this row we were able to till it first, and then we planted some cabbage, and the rest of the row is full of onions and garlic. I love planting garlic because it sounds really intimidating, but it's actually really easy. What we do first is we take the garlic and we break it up into the little cloves. So that takes a little bit of time, but once you do that, it's seriously so easy to plant. All we do is we stick the garlic cloves into the soil, and then we're done, basically. The only thing you have to do that's right is you have to be sure to have the pointy end sticking up, because that's where the sprouts are going to come out. And so you just make sure and have that root or that flat bottom down facing the ground. And so you'll just stick it in there, and that's it. We also threw a little bit of onions and garlic around the rest of our plants so that we could be sure to have a little bit of companion planting going on to help deter bugs. So over here, me and Lydia are planting
radishes and turnips.
Radishes and turnips, and then the boys are gonna go get some wood chips so we can cover at least this section right here with wood chips. Okay, the next section of our fall planting today is going to be planting the broccolis in this raised garden bed. Now, I started some of these broccolis from seed, and they did okay, but it's a little too late for me to start from seed again, and I want to just get them in the ground. So I got some starts, and we're going to fill in the spots where they didn't germinate and get these broccolis going. Oh, the life of a goat. Don't have to worry about anything, and the chickens. Alright, the last little bit that we have to plant here in the garden are a few more radishes, and then we're going to sprinkle a bunch of herbs. So sage, thyme, chives, oregano. So all of this can be planted now. Okay, so one of our last things that we have to plant are some ayatoi onions. Now, ayatoi onions are an onion that is native to the Southwest, and if you live in Arizona or Nevada or Southern California, New Mexico, Texas, plant these onions, okay? So these are ones we saved from last year, and we're just gonna put them all over the garden. We're gonna just spread them out everywhere because they just grow like little sprouts like this. And you can cut off the sprouts, and you can actually use them in baking and things like that. And then you can also pull them out and use the bulbs. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. They're gonna grow all year and provide us with a good supply of onions. Let's go. Alright guys, we're finished planting our gardens. I love fall in Arizona because it's so easy to plant and everything grows throughout the entire winter without us having to worry about bugs or things drying out. So if you live in the Southwest, this is the time to plant, October 1st, okay? So let's take you on a tour. In the first row, we've got cucumbers and different kinds of squash and a couple snap peas started. In the second row, we've got cabbage and a bunch of onions and garlic, different varieties. We're just gonna see which works best. In the third row, we've got our carrots and our radishes and our beets and all of those root veggies along with a bunch of herbs. And then in our last row here is the corn. So as far as the market garden beds go, so far so good. We've got 4 gorgeous rows and I'm really excited to see how they do this winter. Now in the raised garden box area, we've got lots of stuff growing in here. First bed is a bunch of broccoli and cauliflower. And the cool thing about this is that I've put a bunch of garlic, onion, and dill. And so hopefully that will help keep the bugs away. And these will get nice and big and beautiful and we'll have a good harvest. Over here are our pumpkins. They've got a month to grow till Halloween, so we're hoping that they'll get done in time. We see a bunch of baby ones popping up. These are the sugar pie pumpkins, so they're supposed to be pretty small overall. And I think in about a month, they'll be ready. Over here we've got the last of our peppers from the summer, along with a bunch of green beans that are flowering right now. So we're hoping that they will turn into beans and we can have one big late harvest of green beans. Back over here we planted celery and radishes and a bunch of herbs. Over here we have some turnips that came up. I didn't have a great germination rate, but I planted them really early, so I'll probably throw in another round. On this side right here we've got a bunch of kale, some corn popping up right here in the middle. So I'm testing out 3 different varieties, so I can't remember, I'll have to look them up, but this is one of the varieties here. We've got one over there. And then obviously in the market garden beds over here, we've got the last variety. So I'll list them down below. I'm not sure exactly which one off the top of my head. Our sweet potatoes are just taken over. So I love this. They climb up the cage, then they spill out and over and they go wild. But that's okay. And they should be ready just in time for Thanksgiving. And they come all the way around here, back on the other side. I love it. And then I've got just one little rosemary plant all lonely there. I've got tree collard in this corner. This is something that can grow throughout the summer here and we've just been eating on it as we go. And then we have this massive, massive corn. It's so high. We've got the silks just about to show, so I just ordered some trichogramma wasps and that should help keep back the cutworms and the cornworms that are gonna come eventually. This whole bed is a bunch of Swiss chard, and I also planted a bunch of ayatollah onions with them to help, for the most part, get rid of the pests that come along. And over here in our arch, we have a bunch of watermelon and cantaloupe that's just finishing up. We've got a couple more that we're gonna hopefully gather before the end of the year and before we pull all this down. There's a lot of it that's dead as well, and we just don't wanna start fooling with it because then we're gonna pull out some good vines as well. And then over on the last row here is the rest of the zucchini. We still have some of them that are producing, so we're just leaving these guys here. See a bunch of baby zucchinis going, and we're just gonna eat on these. So the best way that I can describe where we are at right now in Arizona is we're finishing up a lot of the summer stuff, the corn, the zucchini, the pumpkins, as well as some green beans and some of the sweet potatoes. And then throughout the winter, we're gonna be eating on all of the carrots and the beets and the parsnips and the radishes. So it should be a really, really fun winter here for us, and I hope you continue to follow us and we'll show you how it all works out. Thanks for joining us. See you guys later. Bye.